Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Last American Pubcast. I'm PJ Williams, host of Wartime Propaganda and Conspiracy Pilled, and I'm joined again tonight, as always, by Frank of Let's Be Frank, Abby Libby, my co-host over on Conspiracy Pilled, and Tom from America Floats. And we have two guests with us tonight. We have Noel, the Cajun Libertarian. What's going on?
What's up, guys?
We have Stephen Ignoramus of Ignoramus Media. How's it going, Stephen?
Hi, hello. I was muted for a second. I caught it at the last second. Hi, everybody. What's up? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, excited to have you guys here. How's your week been going?
Horrible. Just kidding. It's been a great week. Yeah.
It's been literally the worst. Sorry, what were you saying, Noel?
No, I was just saying thanks for having me.
Yeah, excited to have you here. So,
what's been horrible about the last week? You sound like we were threatening nuclear war or something.
It's been great. Kanye West is putting on a White Lives Matter shirt. Goes on Tucker Carlson. Putin is crushing right now. What's not to like?
We got so much to talk about today. So much to get into. If you're looking for those iodine pills to help prevent radiation poisoning, you might run into a snag. They're all sold out because Biden bought them all up. We'll get into that story a little bit later. But let's go ahead and dive into the main story, which is, of course, the threatening of nuclear war in order to protect the money laundering that's going on in Ukraine. Are you willing to send your daughters and sons to go die for the cross-dressing president of Ukraine, Zelensky? Let's get into it, guys.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that there was a story that kind of made the rounds this week. There's some gay backup dancer or something like that was threatening to have other countries use nukes for him, and I don't know why anybody took this guy seriously, but
he's the first gay ever to think of a prophylactic response in some way, or a proactive versus a reactive.
Yeah, I got this video here. I can narrate it a little bit for people who are listening on audio later, but this is the president of Ukraine somehow. Let's see what he has to say. What should NATO do? Eliminate the possibility of Russia using nuclear weapons? But what is important is I once again appeal to the international community as I did before on February 24th. So it might be hard to hear me over this. I'll just
please let me do gay stuff, please.
Yes.
Please, I would like that.
Please. We need the preemptive strike.
Senate needs to rend my butthole.
I think Steven's got the best Russian.
We need preemptive strikes so that they'll know what happened to them if they use nukes on my butt, on my booty. Should I read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't wait for Russia's nuclear attacks. Should I do it in a Chinese voice and then say, oh, since you did this, take that from us. Got more?
Sorry. Anyway, there's more.
Reconsider the way you apply pressure. This is what NATO should do. Reconsider the order in which it applies pressure on Russia.
This guy's
just like psychopath, man.
This guy says just like the U.S. Senate, you have to push and then pull. And then
he's
he's
just a psychopath, man.
What the?
Yeah, he's horrible.
Where did that come from?
You. PJ, you're sharing system audio.
Yeah,
unshare audio.
Go again.
It might be my
fault.
fault.
It's Noel.
Yeah, it might be my fault.
All right, I muted him. I muted him for
I muted myself and it was still good. It wasn't me.
Yeah, it's
my voice sounds bad enough on its own without the reverberation.
For once, there was an audio issue and it was not my fault.
Nice.
I know everybody looked at me, but it wasn't my fault this time.
We did all look at you, PJ.
I did. It was It's because of the facial hair. It's not because
that's what it is. Yeah.
It's just distracting. I mean,
it's fair. It's fair. That totally got. What were we talking about?
That was one of the worst sounds I've ever heard on air ever.
I think that was worse than nuclear war.
We actually deserve.
Nuke America. That was terrible. Yeah,
that was like the nuclear sirens going off, but worse.
Yeah. That was funny.
No, we were talking about PJ going to see Bros.
Gosh,
yo, we're talking about PJ being in Bros. He was one of the extras.
Yeah, but they told him to get out of the shot. He's like, I want to be in it.
I want to be here. It's my favorite. Oh.
I think absolutely insane how we're so far removed from the actual historical fact of what a nuclear holocaust would be. Like there was a time when people really got that and got the severity of it, and now people just throw it around like, oh, no big deal, nuclear bombs.
You're right, Abby. Nobody's taking this obviously as seriously as it should be, Wayne. Especially our global puppet leaders who are just throwing it out there. Biden had that stated that during the his donor speech he had, where he talked about total destruction or something like that.
Yeah, the whole thing about this though is it feels like if you're paying attention, as all of us are, that they've been pushing us towards this like as if this is the goal, as if nuclear war is the goal. Originally it was, hey, if you tell Putin that it's okay to invade Ukraine, he's going to invade Ukraine. Everybody said this. Biden comes out and he's like, hey, if you invade Ukraine, we won't do anything about it. He invades Ukraine. Now we've got all these stories coming out saying, sorry, I've skipped a part. Then there's a pipeline that explodes in Russia. And it was definitely Russia blowing up their own pipeline instead of turning off the nozzle. They're one bargaining chip with the West, right? And I don't know if you guys have seen this, because the whole reason why Zelensky's out there saying, we should attack Russia first. We should blow them up first. Not me, because Ukraine doesn't have nukes. So if you guys could just please get involved in our war and just escalate it exponentially to nuclear war on my behalf. It was all because these stories about a train that Russia was moving a nuclear warhead in, and a nuclear submarine that went missing. So if you guys don't remember this, this is the headline from Fox right here. Russian nuclear submarine armed with doomsday weapon disappears from Arctic harbor. Now, I've looked and I haven't seen any mainstream Western American source disputing this, but right here from Naval News, oh yeah, actually it's not missing at all. It's in the Arctic. And then if you go over here this is actually Ukrainian news, which would have you'd think would have even more incentive to lie about this. Oh yeah, that nuclear train, that was just a normal every October training exercise.
That's how they do, man.
Yeah, so
that's how they do.
Media is pushing us into this. Fox News, CNN, all of them.
Yeah, don't you think since like 2014, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but don't you think since like 2014 or 2015, when they started making Russia the enemy, not in Ukraine and Crimea, as it had been for the last handful of years with Obama, but they began to make it about our election and our sovereignty. And if you had Hillary Clinton instead of Donald Trump, and then you'd had another Hillary Clinton term 2 right now, it would be no different. We'd still be paying almost $100 billion before this is over to and through Ukraine, and we'd end up preemptively nuking Russia. I think they've always wanted to go to war with Russia. I think NATO, since the fall of the Soviet Union, has said, okay, how do we take over Russia? And so they've been systematically taking back Eastern Bloc countries, and now they have surrounded Russia. Putin has explained it as much, and we're seeing some kickback.
Yeah, that's why I like Russia. That's why I'm pro-Russia, because it's like, all the worst people hate the same reason I'm pro a lot of stuff. Like all the worst people hate them. They're up on his doorstep, and I was like cheering the day when Putin invaded Ukraine. I hope that Kiev falls tomorrow.
Well, that's why
the entire country gets swallowed up.
It's so important that we had Trump, and now that we have this lame Biden, it's even more easily seen. It's transparent to the public, both the initiated, like we're paying attention, PJ says, and the people who are not paying attention. We can all look at it and go, none of this makes sense. None of it makes sense.
Yeah.
What was that comment?
I miss Trump. Yeah, that was a quick one he put up there, but I certainly read it. I certainly read it. Yeah. Is that you, Frank?
Yeah, I highlighted that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Children.
Yeah, I miss Trump so bad, man. I just miss the way he said China, like among other things.
China.
Do you think
China?
That kind of leads us to the next thing we were going to talk about. Do you guys think that Elon is going to finish his deal with Twitter, and do you think that Trump will be back on Twitter? That's the big thing everybody's talking about right now.
If he finishes, then he will be. I mean, yeah, if he finishes it, then he will be. He said he was going to let everyone back on, like all the high-profile people back on.
Putting Trump's account back on is not the same as Trump using the account.
That's the point.
Trump said he wasn't going to come back on.
He would be crazy to not do that. If he reinstates Trump and Trump doesn't come back because of this Truth Social grift, then he wants to lose.
Well, he might have a contract with Truth Social saying that he's not allowed to use another media platform.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't know what kind of contractual agreements they have.
Just
agree.
breach contract and get sued and play it out for like 10 years. I mean, the dude's probably gonna be dead. I mean, it's like whether he wants
Don't
to be
say
president
that.
or not.
No, they had
Now-
already said the first person to live to 150 years old has already been born, and I'm hoping it's Donald Trump.
Me too.
Well, did you?
Me too.
I don't.
Did you hear what-
I don't.
Go ahead. Sorry,
what were you saying,
Abby.
Noel?
I was gonna say
Yeah.
I don't.
Go ahead, Abby.
I don't agree that him being back on Twitter is good. I think that he being
Oh, yeah.
one step removed has been really good for him. He's putting his foot in his mouth a little bit less.
Oh yeah, I
Now that he's not
100%
saying-
agree.
Now that he's not saying stupid things, people are still listening. Well, I should say it this way. Now that the left doesn't get to hear him saying what they say are stupid things, but they're all still listening, they're now hearing their own side talk. And a lot of people who can get duped easily enough by the media, who maybe didn't like Trump because the news told them to, now listens to Biden and goes, what the fuck? Like, what's going on here?
As a fan of Trump's tweets, I do agree that there's times where Trump would have been better off to let people hang themselves with their own rope.
When?
That's
Give me an
definitely-
example.
I thought it was great.
I don't think. I think the only
The
thing
debate.
The only thing that Trump ever said that was bad was "I'm sorry" about stuff. Every single thing he ever said was awesome. Like I don't know. Give me an example. Like what did he?
There are some tweets
Maybe-
that I think make him look bad when he sends them when they're not proofread. Like when he misspells a word and it's not kofefe, but when he uses the wrong form of a word, or he says two with only one O. It makes a lot of people like myself, who are like little grammar Nazis, go, "Oh, come on! You're so much smarter than that. Why did you send that?"
But did you vote? But did you vote for him?
Yeah, but I'm sure there are people
So
who would
that
sit
doesn't
back and go,
matter.
well, but I'm sure there are people who would sit back and go, I'm sure he's going to win anyway. I'm not going to go vote for him. And I
'Cause
bet
of
you
that?
they watched as, I
Really?
There's at least
I mean,
one.
but he won twice. I mean, sorry, once. I mean,
Yeah.
my bad. Sorry. Once, and then it was very close the second time. Sorry.
University
Hey,
yeah.
YouTube, do not take us down.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry. I
He
my
did-
bad.
Susan,
I
we're
just
He
Why?
sorry.
definitely should not. He definitely should not have said we should give all drug dealers the death penalty.
Bro,
that you
that was
can't say that.
That's a base
That is not
thing to
based.
say. Yeah, that's
That is
based, bro.
that's a statist thing to say. That is
He's
the
a
opposite
president.
of what
He's
based
a
is.
president. You're saying
He's a former
based
president.
means wait? So you're saying based means libertarian?
Well, he
I'm saying
he
based means
specified-
liberty.
No,
Pro
it
liberty,
isn't.
not
No,
give
it
the
isn't.
death penalty.
No, it's not. No, it's
Oh,
not.
it is,
Based has
100%.
always been right wing. Based was right
What?
wing.
No.
Liberty is not based, bro.
Oh my God! Wait, are you just a walking satire account?
Not at all. No. I'm dead serious.
I'm hoping you are.
Liberty has never been
Liberty-
based.
Liberty is
Yeah.
not based. Okay, so we'll go with slavery from the government is based now because liberty is not.
Yeah, I think some people should definitely be enslaved.
Bondage is freedom, Noel.
100%.
God.
100% people. Certain people should be
I guess
enslaved.
Who are those certain people?
Gosh, we don't know.
The people pushing for the trans kid stuff, to name one. All my enemies, to name another group.
Who are your enemies?
We're going to adopt the old ways of things. You know, when we
Uh-huh.
conquer somebody,
That's
they
right.
become our slaves.
That's right.
Yeah.
The
So,
Roman
and then when the state turns that around on you, then all of a sudden it's not based,
No, because I'll be in power.
but you won't be though.
I'm just saying the original thing that, like all jokes aside, I mean, I'm kind of just trolling here, but what I'm saying, but not about the slavery thing. I actually think that the people that certain people should be, but what I'm saying is the original, and I wasn't around the internet when this happened, when based started, and this is a thing that's run rampant on social media. All of a sudden, based means anything, any political take that one agrees with. And that's not true. Like, so I saw someone advocating for like all kinds of socially leftist things, and they say based. But what based meant in its original thing, and up until a year and a half ago, till it hit the mainstream, it meant from like a right-wing dissident perspective. And this predates me being a right-wing dissident. I mean, base started like on 4chan and stuff like that. And I'm the banned right-wing. And now libertarians think their take is based, progressive say based. And it's just like, okay, why not just say good?
I mean,
Because
why
it's not fun.
Why not?
I'll
why not
agree
at
that
least-
the term has been hijacked.
Yeah.
You got to at least
Sorry, go
bring
ahead,
up
Tom.
base God. You got to bring up base God if you're going to talk about the word and the
Yeah.
origins of the word based.
Based,
And it's not
stickman,
political.
based
It's
God.
just reality.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
whoever's living in the
Based.
reality, who's not putting
Yes.
up with
Liberty
bullshit. They are
is
the
not
most based.
reality. I'll tell you that right now. Liberty is not
Liberty
reality.
is absolutely
That's
based.
insanity. I
No.
agree with Noel. Sorry.
Okay.
Liberty is absolutely based. I'll agree with you in the fact that liberty is not the standard, right? Liberty is the exception to the rule. We just started this liberty movement, and so to call it not based, I think is absolutely ridiculous. Liberty is absolutely based. Just go back to 1776. That is the most based form of government the world has ever seen to
Are you an
overthrow
ANCAP?
and I am in a utopic sense, sure. I don't believe that it's possible. So I'm a minarchist at heart.
Well, guys, we're going to have the Based 101 this coming Sunday, and then next Sunday's Based 102. We'll have a 3,
I'll be there.
4. Okay, so we'll have a
Good.
seminar. We'll send out
like
an
a
email
college
later.
lecture series, guys.
Yep, we're gonna
look
get
at the
to the
board
bottom of
behind
it.
me, folks.
One
look
way
at the
or
board
another.
behind me. This is my definition, and here's why you're wrong. Period.
We're also going to define woman for once and for all. We're
like
going to
your
define
rig.
woman.
I can do that for you really fast. It's very easy, actually. A woman is a grown adult human female that was born with female reproductive organs and the proper chromosomes. End of discussion. This is not up for debate.
I prefer the term kitchen person, but you
Yeah,
use your.
I prefer the term libertarian. I'm just playing. That was such a joke.
I prefer the term ignoramus.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just wanted to say thank you to Waffle Salter for the
Yes,
round of
thank
drink
you,
that
Waffle
bought for
Salter.
everyone, so thank you so much. So let's kind of get back on the rails once again.
Wait, that wasn't our topic for the stream? Holy crap.
I think Tom's hosting the base discussion later on the week now. But seriously, getting back into with what's going on, obviously we remember just this last week, Elon Musk interjected this conversation into trying to broker a peace deal of sorts of saying, hey, we can come to a peace agreement by doing X, Y, and Z, but the global puppets didn't want any part of it. They want war. They showed it in that one tweet where then they followed up with a bunch of memes of Elon being strapped up and beaten and interrogated.
Yeah, they want war. It's to cover up their crimes. They're going to act like they don't want war. They're going to tell
That's
you
right.
the whole time how bad war is, how we're going to try to avoid it. We're going to spend every dollar possible trying to avoid this war. Wink. All those dollars go from one pocket of their pants to another. And we hope, we cross our fingers, we don't have to go to war. And the whole time they know they're just holding Ukraine up as a human shield, taking as much flack as it can for as long as it can
Right.
hold out until they go, okay, finally we'll drop it. We'll give them whatever they want, them being Putin and the Eastern Bloc. And that'll be the Federation along with China and Iran and whoever else. And we're going to stand down. We're setting ourselves up for a buyout. Our elite class is setting up for a fake World War III where we're going to act it out. They're going to take all the money and run, and we're going to be seen as egg on our face first time we ever lost a war.
I don't think it's fair, Tom, that you said they haven't tried everything to avoid this war. They had U2 do a concert out there. They had Ben Stiller went and met with them.
I said they're trying it all. They're trying everything.
They've
that's
tried
funny.
it. They've exhausted
good.
all options at this point. Blowing up the Russia's pipeline, I thought that would avoid a war. I just don't know.
Well,
Now blowing up the bridge.
Nuclear strikes is usually the last ditch effort to avoid a war. I would think.
But they want this. It's not that they want this. They 100% want this. They want the wars. They need the wars. It pushes for in positive directions for these presidents in elections, for these Democrats and Republicans, the neocons and neoliberals, who, if you look at their track record of insider trading like Nancy Pelosi and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they invest in these wartime companies like Raytheon and the rest of the military industrial complex while they get their insider trading done weeks before the war happens, like Marjorie Taylor Greene did, invested $15,000, and I think it was Raytheon or one of them, just weeks before Russia invaded. They want this. It's good for their money. But guess what? Our sons and daughters are the ones that have to go over there and get slaughtered for these people's blood money. I'm sick of it. I'm over it. And it's amazing to me that we live in this introverted world now where you have literally conservatives saying, no, we're done with war. and you have progressives saying, nope, nuclear war is good for the freaking environment. I saw an article literally that asked the question, is a nuclear war good for the environment? Get bit. Kick rocks. No, we're not sending our sons and daughters to die in these wars for your blood money anymore. I'm done with it, and I'm so glad, as a wartime veteran, to say, do not join the service, and I'm very happy that their recruiting numbers are down.
Well,
great
Noel,
rant, my
sorry.
man. That was such a good point. Yeah, good take.
Nuclear war
Thank
is
you.
great for the environment because it gets rid of people. Duh.
Okay, we
If
gotta-
depopulation is the goal.
But Frank, I can think of another way to do that.
Real quick, I just wanted to say
Vote
thank
for
you to
me.
Gabe Sladen for the super chat. We
Thank
will
you.
answer all your questions and comments during last call. If you send a super chat or the last 10 minutes of the show, we dedicate to last call, which is for reading the super chats and answering any questions that you might have within the super chat. So thank you again for buying that round.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for all the comments in the comment section. I had to throw that out there.
For shizzle.
the comment section is crazy for Noel right
It's
now.
lit. It's lit right now.
Yeah, thanks. That was great. I was just with your speech there. Fantastic. You hit all the right points on that because it's true.
Thank you.
All
Yep.
of it's true.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
that-
I mean,
that- go ahead.
go ahead. Oh, cool. I'll go ahead.
How based is liberty now, Stephen?
But I mean, one of the most base things. Well, this is the thing that libertarians get the most right. I mean, one of the most base things is being anti-intervention. I mean, you have to be like honestly insane to be pro-intervention at this point. I mean, I used to be a libertarian, and the thing that got me into it was the anti-war stuff. I mean, that is completely on point. Why we don't even fight our own wars anymore. I mean, like, you know, it's not that I'm necessarily anti-military. Like, I just think that everyone that we have stationed abroad we should make a line of people at the southern border. Like, we should take everyone there and line the southern border, maybe even the northern. We got a lot of maple syrup dripping in from the north. It's a different issue. But so, you know, being intervention is definitely based, and we're not even fighting our own wars. It's for, you know, several
people.
different nations, you know.
Yeah, we need domestic intervention. We need to stop doing the foreign intervention where we try to rebuild other nations. We need to come home and spend all that money here with veterans. This is what I hate. We already diss the veterans when they come home, and now we diss them again by sending more money to Ukraine and not providing for the VA.
Yeah,
Right.
It's insanity.
Yeah.
I mean, we hate our own. We hate our own nation. I mean, we being the government, and like so. That's one of the reasons I'm a nationalist. Is just because I love my nation, I love my family, I love my community, and the people in. You know, I do a show every week on Frank's channel where I just basically fight with his fans the whole time, and there a lot of people in there are like, you're anti-American government. How do you love America? I mean, because the American government is anti-America. They're anti-good. They're anti-God. They're anti-morals, and I hate them because I love my own people. So yeah, I mean, those men should just be over here protecting our borders.
Agree. If you took all of the American troops, all of our military, and we put them, you could literally line our borders, all four of them, with our military. You could have a proper vetting system to where you wouldn't need such people wouldn't be trying to come here and die in droves. I mean, I'm about people first, right? Yeah. So regardless of your feelings on borders, I hate the fact that we've incentivized these poor people to travel across great miles of land to come over here and die in the process under the false notion that some ridiculous regime like this administration has done has allowed this. They haven't just allowed it to happen. They've encouraged it. And then they get mad when somebody like Ron DeSantis sends 50 migrants to Martha's Vineyard, a freaking sanctuary city. And then Eric Adams is saying, oh, we shouldn't have to deal with this. When you've called yourself a sanctuary city. What are you talking about? I'm okay with these people coming here. I would 100% trade all of the progressives in this country that claim they hate America and how racist and how terrible it is. Go then. Go. Goodbye. See you. I'll take the people risking their lives trying to get here just to get a better life because of a more advantageous economic apparatus. 100% I'll trade you all day long. Go then. Bye. See you.
So you and Steven agree you can trade in bodies. You can trade in human.
Yes.
Oh man, that is,
unironically though.
that sounds terrible.
I'll
That
give you
sounds
guys
like
this stat. I
human
just
trade.
read this last week. It's 8 in 9. It's 8 in 9 women who come across the border who are sexually assaulted, and that's that's what they're finding now is the number. It's not the estimated number. It's not the expect. No, it's the number that they're finding. So it's not very humanitarian of the left to create this demand, because that's really what they're doing. If they open the gates and they create this vacuum, you're going to have that supply, and that supply is getting raped.
Progressivism in 2022 is 100% anti-human. Full stop. Non-debatable. It's anti-human.
They're satanic. I mean, they're anti everything good. Yeah. True.
I mean,
Well, there we figured that out. What else do we talk about?
No, come on. We're
That's
not.
what
We're like
Satan's all
this.
about.
It's like the black hand and the white hand, like uniting in the middle. I'm clearly the black one. You know, like
You look very black. Yeah, you're very
You have
black.
to recognize that there's a spiritual element to all of this, and the
Absolutely.
hating of humans comes right from Satan himself. He hates what God created, and he's going to bend it and twist it in any way that he can.
He'll invert it any way he's able to in order to mock it.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what we.
Which is what trans is.
Yeah,
It's
it
exactly
truly
what it
is. It truly is. It's a mockery of creation.
Right.
Yeah, it's
The whole progressive agenda is anti-human. It's anti everything fundamental that has made the greatest country that's ever been birthed on this planet is spiraling out of control. And it's all because of 2022 progressivism. But thank God we have the conservatives to put a speed bump in place here. But the only problem with it is that they're just progressives doing this.
yeah,
speed
they're
limit.
just liberals. I mean, so it's
just
you know
slow.
they're not. They call themselves
here.
conservatives. They call themselves like the GOP or the Republicans, but they're like most of them are the enemies of God too, and they're just center left liberals. I'm tired.
They're
pretending
enemies
they're not.
of the people.
Yeah,
Of we the people.
Yeah.
And you see this. I mean, look, you got your own freaking, and who's still voting for this guy? Oh my God, I'm gonna lose his name. Lindsey Graham. Why? Why are you still voting for this guy?
It's Lizard
Sexual
Graham.
favors, baby.
Lizard Graham.
That's why.
It's
Lizard Graham.
That's why.
Why are you still voting for Mitch McConnell's and Lindsey Graham? Lindsey Graham literally just tried to sabotage the midterm elections by trying to introduce legislation for a federal ban on abortion when everybody on the pro-life side is saying, great, back to the states, this is what we wanted. And then you have this guy literally sabotaging your midterm elections. If you're Republican, please, for the love of God, fire Lindsey Graham and fire Mitch McConnell. What are you doing?
See, that's what I'm saying about
based
slavery, dude.
based
Why
off
not
the-
Lindsey Graham should be enslaved? like I'm saying, like that's an example of like we need to think outside the box here, guys. Like why are we not considering this? Anyway,
Based
sorry,
off-
Frank. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say to Nolan's point here, based off a couple last polls, abortion is probably one of the least amount of things that is driving voters to the polls right now. It's at 56%, where the things like crime, the border, the economy, and elections actually are the top 4 issues for Americans right now. Now it's based off a CNN and MSNBC poll. So that's what if their people are voting, those are the things that are most important to them. And abortion is underneath. What was it underneath? It was underneath something they couldn't imagine why it was underneath it. It was off by a couple points. I can't think it off the top of my head, but it's not a driving force anymore. It was too early. They dropped it in June or July, whenever it was. And midterms were still 3 months away. So just like taking the strategic reserve and pumping all that oil when they did, hoping to get a bump in the polls, which they did for a little bit. But we got to the point where they had to stop pumping it. And then Saudis gave Biden the finger. And we are going to see an increase in gas if you have not already seen it, which I have in my hometown.
It's $1 higher here than it was a month ago.
So again, prematurely doing that, thinking they're going to get a bump just for political reasons, and they're going into the midterms now with 4 weeks left, looking down the barrel of losing lots of seats in both or in the House and possibly, obviously, losing the Senate.
Maybe. I mean, we've seen them steal numerous elections. I can't say which one on all the different platforms we're on, but obviously we all know elections have been tampered with. They've not all been fortified or secure, and it's interesting that they can continue to get away with it. It'll be interesting to see if they can continue to get away with it this fall. And kind of to Noel's point, and I guess to Abby's too, being that it is a spiritual battle. I know, Abby, you got a little half point. Because it is that, you almost wonder if these people, you ask, how do they continue to get elected? How can people continue to support them? It's almost as if, the wool has been pulled over, like they've been, fairy dusted. How are these people still supporting this when it's so obvious to so many of us? And I think that is kind of the spiritual, devilish, demonism, whatever you want to call it, the Satanism of, if they continue to commit these abortions, if they continue to have the huge volume of death that war can create, that famines and that poverty creates, that sickness, the slow death of our diets is creating, of our health systems that are creating the slow death of America, if that is giving them any kind of spiritual power, that may be keeping them in office. So the Lindsey Grahams and the Mitch McConnells, that may be their life force is killing.
They could go into slavery, right? Stephen Mitch McConnell, is that somebody that's up for slavery?
Yeah, that's the reason I stormed the Capitol, bro. That's what I was looking for.
Just a housekeeping thing real quick. Some people are saying they're having trouble super chatting. On the Last American Pubcast channel, the smaller one, that's not monetized yet. So the only way to send a super chat is to go over to the Lex Be Frank channel, where we're also screaming. That's how you are able to send super chats.
You're screaming. The rest of us are streaming, Abby.
I'm calm. I'm very calm. Why don't you calm down? Like, I'm just kidding. Calm down and smile more, Abby. Like,
okay.
Just a joke.
Would you like a sandwich while I'm at it?
Yeah, I
thought you were never going to ask.
You're married though, so I'll.
By the way, it's 7:30, so everyone like the stream. If you're watching it right now, go share a link to the stream on all your favorite social medias, and then your least favorite social ones too. And then if you could, make sure you're following all the people that you see on your screen right now, including Newell, because you might not know him, and because of Stephen Ignoramus, if you haven't followed him, you might want to go unfollow. So go check everyone out in the link below, and let's get back to it.
Don't unfollow Ignoramus if you don't want to be enslaved. That's all I'm saying.
Look, I mean,
he's
I
very
have a list. I
pro-slavery.
keep a list. I have a Google Drive folder with just type in names.
He keeps a list. He's like the evil Santa Claus.
Right. Yeah.
It's like the evil far right
like
Santa
the real
Claus.
Santa Claus. Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Oh, you guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lucas.
Cheers.
I appreciate it. And we got another one here from Bobby Walter. Thank you so much for
Big shout out, $50. Holy
Noel,
crap.
I know that those are cigarettes, but you are smoking those down like they're something different.
No, they're just cigarettes.
Way down to the butt. You're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
That's how we do.
well,
Hate them. I hate them so much, to be honest.
speaking of Africans, if Elon, a lot of people theorize that Elon was going to be buying Twitter by the end of the week, and obviously the end of the week came and gone. Do you see this transaction actually taking place when it's all said and done, or do you continue to see it be in limbo the way we are seeing, or is it going to be the October surprise where a lot of people say, go ahead.
Twitter's going to do everything they can to not sell before the election. I mean, look at this. Like, Elon came out and he's like, oh, hey, you know how we were going to fight this big, expensive court battle and I was going to try to lower the price? What if I just pay you exactly what we agreed on, $44 billion, and we just call it even? They're like, actually, no. Now Twitter's actually trying to stop Elon from fulfilling his deal, which is what they were suing him over in the first place. It's obviously a tactic to get, to keep people for like Trump, people, they're banning everybody left and right. I just got I know a lot of people just got banned off of Instagram, for instance, for something that was shared 2 years ago. I got features taken away from me on Instagram for a story I reshared 2 years ago. So
Yeah.
the crackdowns are coming, and Twitter, these people, they're in this deep state, cabal or whatever. They want to stop people from being able to speak up to the election. So they're going to do everything they can to keep it till after November 8th, I think.
Well, PJ, speaking of black people,
You think big tech is going to be censoring people during the election?
It's never happened before, but it could.
No, that's not a thing.
It's a conspiracy theory.
censored.
Keep that
He
to the
was
conspiracy
limited.
podcast.
He wasn't banned yet. I follow
Hold on,
Kanye
wait.
very closely.
What was Frank saying? Because I didn't catch it.
I'm
They're
talking
having their
about-
own sidebar.
I'm talking about what Frank is talking about.
Speaking of black people, then we went to Kanye.
He's just limited. He's still putting stuff up there. I have notifications enabled for Kanye. That's like my favorite dude in the world. Yeah, he's still up there. He called Puff Daddy a Fed. It was like the funniest thing ever, yo.
Abby, do you know Puff Daddy? Is he in your office?
Personally?
Not personally.
Yeah. Show us where on the Puff Daddy doll he hurt you.
So Abby, is that something you guys are going to cover on Conspiracy Pill, where you guys are going to dive into the conspiracy of Sean Daddy Combs being a Fed?
We should.
We might. I did see an interesting one. So I was tagged today on Twitter for a conspiracy. It was what Czech Pasobi. Let me see if I can find this really quick on Twitter. It was hold on. It was basically like every 8th of the last few months has been some giant thing. So it was here we go. Nope. What the heck? Basically,
Come on, PJ.
Wow, PJ, that is a great conspiracy.
That was
I love
great.
that.
I love it.
It's amazing.
Stop talking
Here we
over
go.
Frank, by the way.
Here we go.
Someone's really serious about this. Anyway.
Linda Smart.
all right, here we go. So basically, it's July 8th.
Yo.
Shinzo Abe was assassinated. What?
I said, yo, this is what I'm talking. Yeah, this is the craziest thing I've seen today.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the 8th of every month has been something interesting. July 8th, Shinzo Abe assassinated. August 8th, Mar-a-Lago raided by the FBI. September 8th, Queen Elizabeth dies. October 8th,
Yeah, because we're in 2022. That's why. I mean, it's a crazy time. If I looked at this is like astrology. You could look at your astronomical sign or whatever and think, if I read it and it applies to me, it must be because they wrote it for me. But I don't think this is just like every day is crazy, right? We could look at every date in the last 3 months and it would all be crazy.
We are in a Harmball timeline. Harmball? Is that the monkey's name? The ape that was shot, remember?
Harambe?
Harambe, yes. We're on the Harambe timeline.
Well, that's why I called COVID Harambe's revenge. That's what I think that was.
That was so funny. That was classic what Frank just said. Like the miss. Sorry, anyway, that was just good. That was just good stuff.
Yeah.
One of these days I'll get through this list. The point I was going to make is this was tweeted a month ago on September 9th. And then today, October 8th, we had the Crimea bridge was blown up.
Yeah.
And then November 8th is the election. So that was the point that was being made.
PJ, August 8th was when they introduced seasonal Christmas coffee over at North Arrow Coffee Company, too. So
They're all in on it.
Another great event in world history.
I
Use
used-
code
Rob
Abby10
is a
for
Fed
10% off
confirmed.
your first order.
Go ahead and name after Ben Shapiro.
I didn't hear what Abby was saying, but if you use PJ10 at northarrowcoffee.co, you get 10% off your order. Whatever Abby's
10.
saying is total crap. It doesn't work.
Abby10.
Yeah, she's a Fed, so don't listen to her.
Her and Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Puff Daddy and
I
Ray.
heard that she puts adrenochrome
fine.
in her coffee, so yeah. Don't order from her.
That's why you look so young. That's
She's
that's
actually
good.
like-
I like that.
She's
Yeah.
actually like 78 years old, so it does work.
You use cream, I use baby blood. We are not the same.
Okay. Stick a
Well, yeah.
term.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah,
Is
Elon
baby blood creamer based, Steven? That's the real question we're all wondering.
No, it curdles.
Look,
Liberty
I
to
can't say
put whatever I want
I
my
can't say
coffee.
everything on air. I have some secrets. Come on now. But yeah, I mean,
think-
Elon should definitely buy Twitter, and if he doesn't, then I'm sorry to sound like a statist, remember? If he can't buy Twitter, then the government should force him so we can get our accounts back. We can bring back Donald Trump, we can bring back Alex Jones, we can bring back meme magic, and the world can be right again. Like,
So wait, the government that secretly asked Twitter to kick your ass off is going to be the one to bring you back? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the government's going to make Elon buy it.
That's
so
just
then
a joke. No, I didn't mean that like serious. Like I'm saying one way or another.
I have a soft
Elon-
spot for Twitter because they've kicked me off like 8 times in this
Yeah.
year. So
On kill.
I'm on my first
How does
account.
that get-
I'm on my first account ever. I swear that I've never had an old one because if you say that you're if you tweet out help me find my friends, you'll get banned. So like I'm
Twitter's
on my
been
first
very
one.
good to me.
Yeah.
Twitter's been the best
far.
app to me so far. Yeah, right, Abby. So far.
Don't say that too
But-
loud.
Facebook and Instagram have destroyed me. TikTok has kicked me off multiple times
TikTok.
after garnering thousands of followers within just a couple of weeks. It's amazing to me.
TikTok's
For
the
whatever
worst of
reason.
all of them.
Oh, TikTok's so
TikTok's
bad.
worse. So, Steven, you were saying that somebody should force Elon to buy Twitter, but what's funny is that's what Twitter was trying to do, and now they're
Yep.
trying to block
That's
him.
what
Like,
I
the
thought that was a
interesting thing.
strategic move by Elon or something like that. I want him to own Twitter. I would rather him own Twitter than Vivek Parag Shawarma or whatever.
The strategic move by Elon was to offer him $44 billion, wait till inflation went crazy, and then re-offer him $44 billion. So it's basically like $22 billion now. And that was a strategic move.
The first rule of Elon Musk is that you do not
Somebody's
know what
having
Elon
fun over
Musk
there,
is
Frank.
doing.
Other than women. That's the only
So
thing we
true.
know that Elon Musk is doing. Like
He's repopulating the earth.
right?
He's like renting their uteruses.
Reverse idiocracy. Yeah, he wants the smartest population.
Is that
in
the
500
plural
years.
form of uterus?
Yeah, he's going to
my
all the
God,
executives
you
that
guys.
he knows that are on the IQ spectrum, and he's like, "Hey, I'll give you $1 million if you'll have my child."
I feel like many
Are you
people,
running a wood chipper over there?
not some sort of freaking motorcycle or something, but I do need to have that wood chipper ready at all
All
times. for the
libertarians
pedos.
must have a have a libertarian
Wood-
wood chipper on their
Yeah.
premises in order to dispose of
Pedophiles.
87,000 IRS agents.
Pedos.
So
Pedophiles,
I'll just throw
pedophiles,
these
I'll
up there
say
and
it.
just
Pedophiles.
Pedophiles, yeah.
All right, bye guys. Have a good one.
We do not push for changing the age of consent laws. Full stop. If we do, we'll hire them.
Yo,
not
can I
lower
ask
them.
you-
Wasn't that the the
can I ask you
Libertarian
something?
Arizona?
Yeah, what was that? Was that guy wasn't Mises Caucus, was he? Like the guy
I'm
you're
not
talking
sure
about?
who that was.
Yeah, I've never heard of that guy before. When I saw that, I was like, "Bruh!" But I saw some people talking about how, like the Mises Caucus has a lot of work to do. But was that guy one of the right wing libertarians or left wing? Do you know?
More than likely left wing.
Yeah.
I don't know who that person is. They're not on anybody's radar. It's just, unfortunately, when you have somebody trying to sabotage the largest, fastest growing political movement outside of the two majors, well, then, yeah, of course, you got to nip crap in the bud. And I'm glad Dave Smith did it. Tip to Dave Smith. If you're not following him, you should.
Oh,
He's
I love Dave
fantastic.
Smith. I really
I'm a
like
huge-
Dave Smith. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had him on my show. Huge fan. Probably going
Really?
to wind up being the
Cool.
presidential candidate for 2024. So follow Dave Smith. Spike Cohen is amazing. My personal great friend and mentor. Follow him. Spike Cohen, absolutely phenomenal. VP nominee for the Libertarian Party in 2020. No, this isn't. We do not consent to that at all. But to the Elon Musk thing, I think people vastly underestimate how smart Elon Musk is, and I think people remarkably misunderstand how well he knows to play this game. And I think they did the same thing with Trump. That's why they keep trying to dish him L's and he keeps getting W's through all of this, probably the most investigated man to ever live. They vastly misunderstand and really just lowbar how good people like Trump and Elon Musk are in court with these things, where they are setting up certain situations and scenarios to where they just keep collecting wins. And I think that's what Elon's doing here. He's literally just playing a mental game with these people, and he keeps forcing them to show their hand because they're low IQ, Neanderthal, knuckle-dragging morons, and he is not.
See, look at Steven now believing that liberty could be based after all.
Real quick, before
I really just don't think. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. If you guys
Sorry.
want memes to be featured on the show, we have a where we will show you guys some of your memes. You guys can send them to either our Twitter account at what was that at US? Oh,
Last underscore USA Pubcast.
yes. You can send those memes there, or you can send them to Abby or any one of us over on whether it be myself at Let's Be Frank or PJ as well. You can send them. You can find us over on Gab as well. Waffle Salter does a great job putting memes over there for the show. So either one of those places would be great. So anyway,
I've got Twitter and Gab on one of my screens. So if you guys send me anything, I'll see them and I'll throw them up on the screen for you.
But send them to me if you really want them on.
PJ10, northarrowcoffee.co.
But only send them
Anyway.
if they're good. Don't send bad memes. We don't want to see bad memes.
yeah, they need.
That's
to be
all
good
I do
memes.
is make bad memes, man. Somehow they keep getting popular. I don't know.
So, real quick, I
Truth be-
just want to check
go
my volume. Is that better?
A little bit, a little more.
Yeah,
bump
you,
it up a
little
little
you
more?
were a little quiet
more.
before.
Yeah, bump it up.
How about now? Can you guys
There
hear
you
me
go.
now? That's
Yeah.
never usually a problem for me to be loud. So
Okay, this feels like a great moment to say my one problem with libertarians. You guys ready?
Only one.
Now it's time for a
Only
commercial
one?
break.
Yeah, only one. Only one.
It's that they don't buy. No, just kidding. I thought you were going.
Go ahead.
The idea that you could have a neutral government where everyone has liberty to make good choices and bad choices and no one's morality is being legislated is a really nice idea. The problem is you create a vacuum. If you try to make a neutral thing, someone's morality is going to be legislated. It's either going to be yours or it's going to be theirs.
Right. So power corrupts absolutely, and absolute
Where
power.
does it say that?
Power corrupts, and
Where is
power
that in the
corrupts
Bible,
absolutely.
bro? Where is that in the Bible? Why is that just true? That statement is like some.
It's a version of original sin. It's the same thing as original sin.
Yeah. Power
God's
corrupts, and
God's
absolute
not
power
corrupt.
corrupts.
He's got absolute
Absolutely.
All right, let him finish his
Well,
sentence.
okay, that's a perfect entity. But let's carry this train of thought that Abby's introducing because it's a very valid argument. And that's why you have so many people that are transitioning from minarchy into anarchy, because fundamentally the existence of the state requires evil. The existence of the state requires violence. And because people require and they value power, then they are always going to corrupt any sort of governmental system, even with the Constitution, that is the world's greatest documentation to have ever been spelled out to mitigate the expansion and corruption of a government. Our government has gotten completely out of control in less than 200 years. So that's why you have so many anarchists saying we would be better off with no government, with private, like we were talking about earlier, as far as privatizing everything. That's the ANCAP way, anarcho-capitalism. You're still going to have all the same systems in place. They will all be privatized. Therefore, you can easily, or much more easily, fire them and replace them. That is the ANCAP argument. Here's the reality. There is never going to be a system that is perfect. There is never going to be a system that does not abuse people or corrupt their power, because we live on Earth and we are dealing with people.
Wait,
And
Noel,
in
can I ask you to clarify? Are you saying that there's violence and power, and that the only difference is that with government it's organized, and that with anarchy it's disorganized? Like, what are you saying, that it's going to be the case no matter what?
I'm saying it's going to be the case no matter what. However, it can be more properly restrained in its in the context of, let's just say, maybe you had more of a libertarian type of federal government where they only exist to protect your rights, which is literally the entire point of the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, that the federal government only has negative rights, meaning they can't do X, Y, or Z, right? It is only, its existence is there only to protect the human and individual rights that were given to us naturally. The Constitution does not give us rights. Those are natural. The Constitution puts those natural rights onto paper as law. So make no mistake there.
But rights are fake, dude.
Oh
No, they're not.
no! I have regret.
they're not.
I regret
Rights
bringing
don't
this up.
exist. Give me
Okay.
a reason why they exist.
To give you a reason why they exist.
Why do rights? Give me a quick logical proof why rights exist.
Because every human fundamentally understands morally that they have the right to self-defense.
No, that's
that they have
a
the
non
right to
sequitur.
move
Wait,
for-
well,
no, it's not.
That's a
No, it's
circular
not.
argument. You're saying
It is not a
Stephen
circular argument. You didn't even give me a chance to finish.
No, listen. Stephen exists because Stephen exists. Like, this is a circular argument. Like you're saying, I asked you why rights exist, and you said because they exist.
They're natural.
Okay, and
Because you understand within yourself naturally that you have the right to self-preservation.
This doesn't
That should
make
be
sense.
the number one. Yes, it does. You know, without somebody telling you, you don't need to be informed that I have a right to self-defense and preservation of life.
look, you can say
That
it
is not
louder if
something
you
that
want, but it doesn't make any sense.
So Noel
You
is
can
making
say
a
that,
natural
but that is
law
not a
argument.
defense.
You can say it as loud as you want, but
You
it
say
doesn't make
shh.
sense.
Hold
It's
on.
not-
Your argument doesn't make sense because you don't need somebody to tell you that I have a natural right
Okay.
to life.
No,
That
listen.
is not
So
something that you're taught.
let me
That is
tell you
something
what.
that you know internally.
No. Let me respond with what is real.
What?
What's real is the violence. What's real is the force.
That is
and the
also real.
violence.
Two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but I'm saying that the thing that what rights are is an assumption that is enforced by the violence of the state.
Right is the natural inherent belief that you don't need to be taught because it is morally ingrained within you from the time of your existence. And the right to life and self-preservation is at the top of said list. And that is why people inherently fight against tyrannical governments. They do not need to be taught this. This is something that is instinctual and embedded within every human being.
This is a natural law argument, and I think you have the same issue when you try to define a woman. Like, you know what a woman is, and some of the things that are like really basic to the fabric of reality, it is really difficult to make a really good logical argument for their existence because it should be so self-evident. We hold these truths to be self-evident.
Oh, you know the
that
thing.
All men are created equal.
You know the thing.
Yeah, I just reject it. I reject that when something has to be held as self-evident. Like that makes it an assumption, not a reality. And what is real is the force that backs these things
Steven,
up.
the sky is blue, right? That's self-evident.
That
you can look up and see it.
No, that's not self-evident. No,
look up the
that's
definition of self-evident, dog. That's literally the definition of it. You don't know what the definition of self-evident is, and that's the problem here.
What's blue?
Again, like you can talk loud and fast about it, but it's not.
No, I'm just trying to get a word in, and that's what it is. You don't know the definition of self-evident.
Yeah, I think you have a fundamentally ignorance of some sort of etymological
I think that
here.
your worldview started to exist in probably the year like 1400, and you're not taking into account all worldviews prior to that.
Have you ever read the Bible?
Like 20 times, bro.
We're talking about 6,000 years ago.
Where are rights in... Okay, now we're talking my realm. Where are rights in the Bible?
Easily. You have the right.
I don't know that. What is that after Deuteronomy?
What is one of God's first commandments?
Thou shalt love the Lord your God with all your soul and heart.
No, that's the greatest commandment. One of God's first commandments in the Bible is to go and have dominion over the earth and reproduce. That is a natural right.
No, I'm
saying a universal, fundamental spiritual right of natural law to say that you have dominion, which means by extension you have self-preservation, because how in the hell can you have dominion over the earth and reproduce if you don't have a right to self-preservation, man?
Easily. That's calling life the reality, not the right to life. Like that's saying the dominion is what's real.
So I'll show just
how can you have dominion without?
Hey, I just want to interject real quick. The first commandment is you shall have no other gods before me. So just to clarify,
that's in the 10 commandments. I'm saying when in Genesis, when God is talking to Adam and Eve, he commanded them to go and have dominion over the earth and multiply.
Well, I'm going to go to the experts.
Multiply without the right to self-preservation.
I know you guys have the word of God, and that's fine. I'm going to go to the experts at Google. They say self-evident is defined as not needing to be demonstrated or explained, that it is obvious. So my point was, if you look up and see the sky is blue, that is self-evident. You don't need it to be proven, but it is self-evident.
And
rights he's saying are self-evident. You don't need to have them.
That's fine. I'll accept that. What I'm saying is just because someone says something is the sky example is a good example. But what I'm saying is just because Thomas Jefferson calls something self-evident does not make it even true.
Thomas Jefferson didn't call it self-evident. He just acknowledged that it was because it was and it is.
To sum up and then move on, Noel's argument is a natural law argument that these things are self-evident, and Stephen's argument is that these are things we chose, that it's not necessarily baked into the fabric of reality, but we said, look, these things are important, these things are necessary for the way that we're building our government, so we chose them and we wrote them and we adhere to them.
I can't.
If they were baked into reality, if they were baked into reality as opposed to natural law, then you would never, ever, ever see a natural, organic grassroots revolution like the United States did in 1776. These people inherently knew for a fact that they were.
I'll move on. Yep.
It's a good argument, Noel, and I appreciate
the American Revolution was immoral, man.
It's just one example. You look at Mao's Cultural Revolution, right? Went in the wrong direction, and people still revolted.
I would literally rather talk about nuclear holocaust.
Yeah, Abby said in the chat that she did this, and whatever.
Yeah, let's move on to happier subjects. Let's go to happier subjects, like everyone dying.
Well, I mean, this is what I was saying earlier about me and PJ. Like, our friends are like, you got into a heated debate. It's like, this is just me talking. I love this stuff. I mean, I don't harbor any ill will about it at all, or it's just this is just
not at all.
I'm
Steven,
a fascist, and you're not. That's
Steven,
a joke. I'm
You're
not.
clearly a fascist.
It's not a joke.
You're absolutely a fascist.
Steven, Steven, you can have Noel on your show, and you guys can.
I already DM'd you, man. I already DM'd you to have you on my show.
Hey man, I'm there for sure.
Yep.
No, I love the back and forth.
While you guys are on the Noel and Steven show featuring the Last American Pubcast, I do want to highlight something that we've added. If as a guest I can add this, plug myself a little bit. We have created a merch shop for you guys.
Where are your sponsors? Don't you have sponsors for this
I'm going to run a
thing?
sponsorship ad for your guys' show. This is bonfire.com with the Last American Pubcast. It's going to be in the show links. If you guys are listening to this later, it'll be in the show notes and stuff like that. If you guys go to our link tree, solo.to/Last American Pubcast, you can follow all the hosts or all the guests. You can follow all the guests. You can follow us on all the different platforms. But I was just gonna say we finally have a merch shop. There's some great stuff on here. I just ordered the Minuteman shirt for myself in black. This is my favorite one. I don't know, but
can you post that in the chat so everybody can check out that link?
I will drop that in the chat right now.
There you
go.
And
you guys can check it out. So
very cool.
All right, we're heading into the second hour, and don't worry if you guys are just joining us for the second hour. We have a whole another hour left, so make sure you guys hit that like button, share button, especially if over on your favorite platforms. Maybe you're still on Twitter. Maybe you are a Twitter veteran, and that was kicked off, and you're one to follow one. We'll put it over on Gab, Telegram, wherever else you might be. Go ahead and make sure you share that, hit that like button, and subscribe. We are closing in on 2,000 subscribers over on the Last American Pubcast channel on YouTube. So that's fantastic. We're about 270 away from hitting 2,000. So we're very excited about that. And just make sure you leave a comment and engage in the conversation in the different chats. And as we move in to our next segment, we are heading into more of our entertainment stuff because we love to mock some of the cultural stuff that is currently going on, in which it absolutely deserves to be mocked in many cases. All right.
So what did you want to start us off with, Frank, for some cultural stuff?
Oh, well, let's talk about your movie that you were going to go see.
He was in.
Okay. Everybody gives me. I'm going to explain this joke a little bit for people who think I actually went and saw Bros. On my channel.
What is Bros anyway?
PJ did not go see Bros. Just his mustache did.
Just my mustache. So
can you explain what Bros is?
Well, you see, when a man loves another man very, very much,
they star in a movie.
Okay.
All right. So,
relax.
So Bros was this idea that if you had a rom-com and it was explicitly a bunch of gay orgy scenes, that they could get a bunch of people to see it, while they were continuously bashing, straight people, white people, Christian people, anybody who voted for Trump. They're like, let's get the smallest possible audience, because we know how much guys love going to see rom-coms. So
it reminds me of that box article.
Rom-coms with a lot more anal sex, and then they'll really show up while we bash the audience. And Billy Eichner has been, just railing. That was a bad word.
Hey, make good content.
Yeah.
Make good content. Period. I don't care if your crap is gay, homosexual, trans, lesbian. I really don't care.
I care.
I care a little bit.
I care deeply, by the way.
I don't. You can make whatever you want, but understand, if you're trying to make money, especially as a rom-com, then the last thing you want to do is just put two dudes up there banging each other.
By the way, thank you, Rick, for
listen to
the
rom-coms.
drinks.
Yeah.
Oh,
halftime drinking.
Well, the point is that they got $5 million during the opening weekend, which is probably far less than what they spent on this piece of crap.
Horrible.
Oh, yeah, they spent $5 million on glitter alone.
Okay, so I just want to clarify really quickly. I did not go see this movie. The reason people make these jokes at me is because I have watched a
mustache
lot of
that looks like
content
that
to make fun of it on purpose. And the last time I see Katie Zed's been in chat, I made Katie Zed watch They/Them. And that's why I'm like, you know what? That was more than enough gay sex in a movie for me.
What was
They/Them?
Them?
Yeah, that's a horror movie, right?
No, it's supposed it's billed as a horror movie, and it is not a horror movie.
It's just a horrible movie.
It's just a horrible
Sounds
movie.
like a horrible
Nightmares,
movie.
but for a very different reason. Yeah, it was the gay alien sex that happened in that movie. But
They just go by Galian.
Galian. Well, this is what's funny is this first Billy Eichner
What a
saying,
clown.
he's mad that people didn't go see his movie, and now he's like, well, I guess we didn't make this movie for homophobes anyway. It's his new thing.
Yeah. I thought he just made it.
That's the whole stick.
Now it's you can't see it. Now I don't want you to. Now no one went to see it, so it's like it's exclusive. You can't see it.
It was back
That's
and
the whole
forth.
stick.
Like they had a trailer that said, "Don't watch this movie if you voted for Trump." If you're one of these straight white males, don't go see this movie. You're an awful, terrible person. Oh no, they didn't see this movie. Well, we didn't make it for you anyway.
This is
See,
such
I
a
thought
cope.
I thought when you said that he made it for the smallest audience ever, that he had made a movie about midgets, but you're saying it's about gay people.
Small in numbers, not in stature. Yeah.
I got it.
It was actually made specifically for gay midgets, which is an even smaller demographic of the United States. So,
Oh yeah,
No, sorry,
That's
that's the
they're
sequel.
twinks
That's
and
the
then they're
sequel.
ho-hos.
One of the tiniest.
Anyway,
Don't make
speaking of
trash
gay
content.
people-
The sequel's called Half Bros. Yeah, so it's made for gay midgets.
That's good.
Half Bros.
Half Bros. Oh, it's fantastic.
No, they're called Lil
Yeah,
Bros.
good.
Little Bros.
Little Bros.
Yeah.
That'll work too.
But this is what Hollywood
man.
does. They write a sermon and then they try to shoehorn the sermon into a story that
Yep.
they do not care about. Like they do
Yep.
not care about the story. And then they cast some minorities. They create a lot of marketing hype around some sort of marginalized people group. And then they blame conservatives when their terrible story doesn't succeed.
Yeah. Hey, make crappy content, and then when nobody watches your content, everyone's just a homophobe. No, you just
Well, they're
have trash content. That's
they're
all
gonna
there
take
is
all
to
the
it.
wrong lessons.
except
Go broke.
yeah, though. Like I know you said everyone's not a homophobe, but yeah, though. But I mean,
You're a homo-
certain people
if you're a homophobe, that means you're scared of homosexuals. So
Definitely.
I, for one, am not a homophobe because I'm
Definitely.
not
Have you
scared of-
Terrified
Wait,
on a
ever
societal level.
Wait, I heard
That'd be a
I heard-
homophobe one, too.
I heard if you
homophobe and
shake
bigot are two different things.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. Is
It's
that
what?
real? Can anybody
The thing is that Hollywood's going to take
Did you
all
say
the
Amber
wrong.
Heard?
Yeah, where's that in the Bible?
People aren't watching-
I'm just playing.
People aren't watching this
Jumps on
movie, but
people's beds.
Oh my god.
Hit a mute button. What were you saying, Tom?
just
I'm
that
sorry.
people aren't watching this movie, but it doesn't make them homophobes. Obviously, just like people that stopped watching the NFL a few years ago on Sunday would do it because they didn't care for the kneeling, not because they were racists and didn't like black guys
Right.
anymore. So I think for Billy Eichner, I think it's Billy, right? For him to say this,
Yeah.
I think just kind of, again, it's like that transparency thing we were talking about earlier. They're
Right.
they're now hearing their own side saying these dumb things, and people are like, wait, I'm not a homophobe just because I didn't go see your dumb movie. There are a lot of people in the middle who used to watch Billy on the street, and now they're going to be watching not Billy on the street.
Well, think
Billy
about
the
this.
Street
Like,
was a-
even if
Billy
Sorry,
lives
go
on the street.
Gotcha.
even if you weren't a quote unquote homophobe, if you had no problem with the LGBTQI AIDS agenda, there's like, what guy's gonna go see this? You're not attracted to it in any way. There's no woman that's gonna drag you along to it because she doesn't want to see a bunch of guys railing each other either.
Yeah,
So
maybe like
the
a
problem is-
cuck. A cuck has a wife, and his wife has a boyfriend, and the boyfriend wants to go see the movie, and they all go together.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
that's a-
Jake.
again,
Despite
that's a
making
very,
up 13% of the underwater population, they commit 52% of the crime.
Oh, the memes.
I was going to start with speaking with black people, but I just set up that one in.
No, but seriously, speaking of black mermaids, I've been reliably informed that representation is the most important thing about a story. That if you can't see yourself in a story, then you can't enjoy it. And I just don't feel represented as a woman in a movie about gay men. So
Very
well,
true.
if
Fair point.
representation is the argument you're making, I don't know why Frank didn't go see it opening night.
Dude's
No,
a clown.
Hollywood-
It's the same old story over and over and over again. Make a crappy movie, get woke, go broke. and then just blame it on the ideology that you think that you're running right up against, right? It's not actually about that these people believe that their movie failed because of a bunch of homophobes. No, they know they made a crappy movie and they realize this, if it did sell, how many people are pro-gay, pro-trans, pro all of the LGBTQIA plus, etc., tilde sign, everything else, they would have went in flocks and droves to go see it. There's a ton of those people in our country. That it's a bad movie with bad content that nobody wants to watch. And now they're realizing it, and good.
No,
Thank
but they're
God.
not though. They're not realizing it. They will take all the wrong lessons from this. They do not they never learn.
Listen
They
to
never
the
learn.
man.
That's why if you read every headline, the headline has been the audience disappointed them. The audience didn't do their job. They had no freaking audience. That's the entire point. They had no audience because nobody wanted to see this. And if you read any headline, Yahoo, CNN, whatever, they say the audience disappointed them. The audience let them down. You don't have an audience. They're taking all the wrong. Like, you are expected to go see this movie. You're told to go see it, and they expect you to follow along and do what you're told as a good little sheep. And that's the lesson they think. They're like, oh, the problem isn't us. The problem is that we made a movie for 2% of the population, and on top of that, it was maybe 2% of them would even want to see it. That's not the lesson they're going to take. The lesson is you are the audience. You who didn't see it are the audience, and you were expected to go see it. And shame on you.
These people's lives exist almost solely on social media, though. So if they're on Instagram, if they're on Twitter, and they have these bots that help prop them up, these people may not even realize that their handler's company hires the bots. Like, they may not realize that their 100,000 likes is really like 70,000 fake people. And then they get the 30,000 because they see 70,000 liked it. And so I think that's the support they get. The gay movie, they thought they'd have 1.5 million people every weekend seeing it. And instead it's like, oh, that was the Twitter number. The real number is about 10% of that.
Yeah.
It'd be so funny if they called their audience homos. They're like, this audience is a bunch of homo. Sorry, I'm not going to say that word, but yeah.
But I think
you're just a bunch of queers. Like, you don't even like our star. Anyway.
But see, I think I think what I said was absolutely. I think what I'm saying is absolutely applicable. I do think that they are realizing that what they're doing is producing bad content. That's why there's so much angry backlash. And you couple that with the idea that a company like the Daily Wire, who is producing non-political content as far as movies and is being wildly successful, they're pissed about it. They would be asking genuinely if they thought their content was actually good. They're not asking genuinely. They're pointing fingers because they know they produced bad content. So the only response that they have to have, because they are in a cult, a religious cult, is we must blame all of the ideologues that disagree with us.
Real quick, so speaking of great content, you know who's putting out the best content right now? Russia. Let's take a look at this real quick.
Yes. I love Russia, dude. I love Russia so much, yo.
Let's take a look at this awesome video they made.
Как я давно хотел это сделать.
В Америку летите?
Да, переезжаем.
Америка самая свободная страна. Страна возможностей.
А вы с мужем летите?
Да, мы вместе. Он сейчас подойдет. А вот и мой муж. Знакомьтесь. Эмили.
Can you pause this real quick, or is that the whole thing?
No, there's a little more.
I was just going to narrate just briefly for the people that are listening later. Basically, there's people flying to America. She's like, hey, we're going to America. It's the land of the free. Come meet my husband. And it's very much a woman. So keep going.
Here's the next part.
Yep.
Простите, мистер. Пассажиры позади вас вегетарианцы. Им неприятно, что при них употребляют мясо.
Мы же их не заставляем это.
Простите, но в США принято придерживаться принципа демократии.
I love that part right there.
Wow.
Says, sorry, but in the U.S. it's customary to adhere to the principles of democracy.
Yeah, she's berating a guy for eating a steak because there's vegetarians nearby.
Демократия. Позвольте, я это заберу.
Isn't that funny? They're calling authoritarianism democracy.
That's what our leaders are doing all the time.
It's what that is.
Yep.
It's what it is.
That's what's happening.
This
I mean,
next segment-
democracy now means the liberal world order. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, if Trump wins by popular vote, that's anti-democracy somehow. They've literally made that case a million times. They have no idea what the word means.
Progressives, absolutely 100%. What they do is they self-project all of their shortcomings onto their people. The Democrats and the progressives are doing a far better job of doing all of the things that they claim Trump and the Republican Party were doing. They're much more efficient at being all of the things they accuse everybody. It's self-projecting and gaslighting at its finest. Sorry about that.
All right, here's the last segment on this one. He's getting ready. This reminds me of that video where that lady skipped the guy in grocery store and she lost it.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, yeah.
Туалет.
What do you want?
В очередь вставь в туалет.
I want to go to the toilet.
Простите, мистер, что случилось?
Да вот парень без очереди лезет тут.
И что? Вы не хотите его пропустить?
Я?
Конечно, конечно. Его надо пропустить. Мы подождем. Его народ долгие годы терпел притеснение белых. Мы перед всеми афроамериканцами в долгу. Простите нас, сэр.
It's not even wrong.
It's not wrong.
Прошу вас.
Yeah, she's berating him to make a black man cut in line because he suffered oppression somehow. Stares him down.
He's like sneering at him.
Sit down, honky.
Grab your
Не
ankles while
могли
you're
бы
at it.
пересесть в носовую часть самолета?
В смысле, я один?
Нет, вы все трое.
Зачем?
Там сзади пара, они child-free. Дело в том, что ваш сын попадает в поле их зрения, и это вызывает у них дискомфорт.
Yeah. I'm moving too, dog. I'm seeking asylum. Everyone's about refugee status up in here, like, seeking a better life for themselves, but I'm moving to Russia, dude.
You're following Snowden's lead?
I'm down. Yeah.
Might
Russia
be wrong.
is so
Thank you for the
dope.
super chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I read
Might
this
be
out loud?
wrong.
I'm not afraid of gays or spiders, but if I see one in my shower, it's not going to end well for them.
See, that's where I would be considered a homophobe. Yeah, 100%.
Just be one. That's my point. Like,
Well,
all
I
jokes
meant-
aside,
I
all
meant
jokes
as far
aside,
as being actually afraid. That's my. was the
yeah. I
joke
mean,
was
but
making.
what I think is that we should all just be down with being called whatever they call us and going about our business. I mean, like the idea of we're talking in the year of our Lord 2022 about the same things that Trump was called in 2015. We should just crush, do our thing, and just be racist, be whatever it is. It doesn't mean be it, but it's like, that's why it's funny. That's why when I call myself when I say I'm a Nazi, it's fun. People get it. It's funny. Just be that. Whatever,
Well,
dude.
this is what I
You're
was
saying
talking
lean
about
into
earlier.
it.
Yeah. A lot
This
of
is what I
it.
was talking about earlier with whose morality is going to be in charge. We've allowed them to impose their morality on all of culture. They decided what the sins were. Then they accuse us of the sins, and we don't even agree that the sins are sins. We don't agree that being
Right.
homophobic is a sin, and yet we keep apologizing for. I'm not homophobic. I'm not racist.
I meant it in the way that Noel was talking about. Like, I have no
Right.
problem in saying I'm like anti all the stuff that they're for. I have no problem. I just meant it in a very literal way, as in it's stupid to say the word homophobe, as in I'm actually
Right.
afraid. Like,
Now-
that's the only
Right.
point I was agreeing.
Now-
with. But I agree.
Now-
What you're saying, Abby's 100% right. Yeah.
What you guys are talking about is exactly how Matt Walsh actually articulated it earlier.
What is
Not-
the word, though? We should come up with a word, PJ.
What I mean,
what
the
is the word for what we are trying to
anti-gay,
say?
man. The word they call you me a homophobe. I will say I'm anti-gay. 'Cause I am.
Anti-gay is the most
But
accurate
phobe is
thing,
like
but what I'm saying
fear.
is
So,
phobe
like,
is
what's
stupid.
Anti-gay. That's
Homo
the word.
not. What
It's
is
like
the word?
the-
Why?
Sorry, I know.
Why
Frank
be
wants to
worried
play this real
about
quick.
how?
But I was just gonna say it's just like they accuse you of either saying that trans people don't exist or that you're transphobic.
They
And I
don't.
just have to say, actually, I just agree with the first one. Trans people don't exist. I'm not
They
afraid of them.
don't. There's
it's
never
not a-
been
it's
one
not
in
a thing.
history.
Right. And Matt Walsh actually, they were trying to force him to apologize and, of course, consent to being canceled. And Matt Walsh actually gives a very good, like I just said a second ago, of how you actually, word this. And here, let's take a listen.
So here's my official answer for the record. Kiss my ass. I do not apologize.
Cheers to that.
In fact, by all rights, you sick freaks should be the ones apologizing to me for lying and defaming me, and doing it all because I'm trying to prevent you from sexually mutilating children. You damned monsters. You child-abusing psychopaths. I wouldn't apologize to you, soulless parasites, if I had a gun to my head.
Based.
Instead, I'd rather just tell you all to piss off.
This is the angriest he's ever been.
I apologize for nothing. I concede nothing. I will never surrender even a single inch of ground to a pitchfork mob of degenerate morons. You know, the secret they never say out loud is that nobody is truly canceled unless they consent to it and they willingly play their assigned roles. Well, I do not consent, and I'm not going to play the game. I'm not going anywhere.
And that's how you handle it.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Seriously. Clap for him.
Yep.
I got to say, Matt Walsh has been absolutely on fire. His crusade against the whole trans agenda he's been the most effective person in this. You have to give him props where it's due. Like I don't know. Do I have this story pulled up? We had a story this week from the Daily Wire where they're
you're pulling that up. Vanderbilt, who he helped expose with the child mutilation chop shop, Vanderbilt is now PJ. Saying they were putting in politics. Oh, you got the story there.
That's literally what I was saying, Frank.
Taking PJ's thunder. Poor guy.
Go ahead, Frank.
Go ahead.
Now
PJ,
he has to go be in bros too.
Hey guys, let's be done with this story and talk about another one called Vanderbilt Pediatric Gender Clinic pausing transgender surgeries on minors.
Well, I'll let you get to that in a second, Tom. But first, I have this story from the Daily Wire called Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
So I listened to this whole thing the day Matt Walsh put it out, and I commend him for it because 100%, you do not bow to these psychopath, cultist, religious extremists on the progressive left. I would never, ever, ever apologize, 100%. But I just had to say, trans people do exist, right? Like there is a literal clinical definition for gender dysphoria. No. That is a real thing. Okay,
these people gender dysphoria
hold on.
The mental illness exists. However, there is
the mental illness is real. Okay, now the way we address that issue is also real. Okay, but to say that like trans people don't exist.
The person exists, but
they are.
That's not
what
I'm not participating. I'm not participating in a false reality.
That's a false reality.
If you have more than one personality, if you have multiple personality disorders,
the extra personality
does the other person exist?
No.
Or do you have
so
mental
trans
illness?
people are fake?
That's a totally different medical diagnosis. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Gender dysphoria and freaking multiple personalities are completely two scientific medical diagnoses.
Listen, does the extra gender exist?
What extra?
The one that's fake.
Which one is that?
The one that is fake.
Up. You're saying extra.
The one that
there's no extra. These people are trying to identify.
There is no extra.
There's no extra. They're trying to identify as the opposite gender.
They're born a female. They're a female.
Now, whether that's realistic or not is up for debate.
They can sit there and
so anyway, about slavery here.
I'm not participating in their reality. I'm not participating
and you don't have to.
In false reality. No, they're forcing you to. They're forcing you.
About people that should be enslaved.
Who?
Who's forcing
it? Really? Who is doing it?
Who
Do
should
we
be
not
enslaved?
know we don't see it forced on every
1 out of 6 people on this panel should be enslaved.
All right, so define force
on everything right now.
Let's define force then. Let's define force then.
Let's
what is actual force?
I said that a certain person is a woman. A certain actress is a woman.
Ellen Page is a woman. Yes.
And
Ellen Page.
And lost my account.
Who's Alan Page?
You are being coerced
to forcing.
Play within their reality if you want to participate in society.
That's the internet.
Listen.
That's not the internet. That's real life too.
They will erase you.
Can I defend my point?
What are the possible repercussions? Right?
Being fired from your job.
You lose your job.
Every bit of networking.
Don't work for somebody like that.
You could be arrested in other countries for that.
I work for a hard right, Trump supporting somebody that can text the freaking one of the Trump sons all the time. I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, well, that's good for you, but other people that may not work in that type of environment can
That's
still
the world, but that's the earth we live in. That's the world we live in. If you want security,
but you're saying they're not being coerced or is not being forced, and that's absolutely incorrect. It is.
Right. Yeah. In the objective sense of force.
Attempts and legislation through in this country in order to sit attempts. There are attempts in order to
and I wholeheartedly disagree with them. I wholeheartedly disagree with that.
You can disagree all you want. However, if
just attempts.
At your point, the state uses violence to coerce you to obey. That's what they'll do.
But that is not there yet. We're not there yet. That's why I object against the word force.
No, it
as
is
of
force.
Today. It is not force.
Yes,
because force requires violence.
Exactly. They will use violence to coerce you.
Are they doing
your livelihood is violence. If you lose your job and you can't feed your family, that is force.
No,
that is your choice to work for some ridiculous company that embraces left-wing ideology.
Losing your job is not violence. It's shitty
not
consequence. It should be illegal in a lawsuit, but it's not not violence. Someone throwing a brick through your windshield while you're driving and it hitting you as you're driving because you're trying to get away.
Yeah,
that is violence.
I'm considering doing that myself, by the way.
I do want to defend this. A piece of legal history is back when people needed horses to plow their fields, that they could not eat without their horse. If you killed their horse, you could be tried for murder. So when you forcibly take someone's livelihood from them so that they can't feed themselves and their family, I am going to argue that is a form of violence.
And
but you're talking about forcibly when you have options.
Party gets it wrong.
Just for the record, we could say attempted murder and it's still not like violence. Like if I tried to poison something for you, but it didn't get to you, it would be attempted murder, but it was nonviolent.
And you have options now. Okay, we're not living in that world anymore. You have the option to go and get another job with somebody that aligns with your political ideologies. And for anybody that's trying to argue any way against that, I think you're absolutely insane in the 2022 political climate not to have a job and atmosphere that does not align with your political ideology. Is that cancerous? 100%. It's a societal cancer that you must go and align your entire life under political ideologies. It is cancerous, and I hate it to the utmost with everything in me. But you still have the option. So don't
I agree
live under that.
I agree with you in the sense that I've talked about this before. As far as it depends on you, go work for people who do not hate you. Go work for people where you can speak your mind. However, for a lot of people, that is on a time frame. Like it takes time to go get a new job. It takes time to go get hired at a new place. So I think
sacrifices have to be made.
Of course, but also when you have kids or if you're living paycheck to paycheck, I mean, I think we need some nuance in the conversation where we can call it evil when people take away people's livelihoods and not blame the victim
100%.
and also encourage people to go seek out jobs.
100%.
Yeah.
I completely agree. It is absolutely evil, but it is not forced.
Right. And I will add this real quick, this little caveat. It's that I don't call for violence on the trans people or the trans community or anything like that, but I am not going to engage in their behavior. I'm not going to sit there and pretend with them.
Amen.
Am I going to be polite? I can be polite with them.
Absolutely.
But don't force me to sit there and play in your delusion.
It's completely agree.
I'm throwing this up on the screen because I'm wondering if anyone else feels this way during this podcast. Like you're thinking like, I don't agree with him. Wait, now he's on my side.
Yeah, well, I mean, because we're real human beings. I mean, like this is why I don't get butthurt about it, like any of this, because we're just real human beings trying to figure it out. But about the trans thing, I just think that calling it real in the first place is conceding. It's not real. It's not.
It's not just conceit. I want to actually, because I haven't had a chance to defend my point that I was making earlier.
But one point about that, I'm just kidding. That was totally just a joke. No, sorry, I'm a troll. So go ahead.
Point out.
only point I was trying to make is that trans people do exist. Like that is a real thing. They do suffer from
PJ's turn, man.
But it got quiet. I took my shot.
Shut up, everybody, now.
Go ahead, PJ. No pressure now.
No pressure. Yeah, now that I've lost like 75 things I was going to say. So I have ADD, guys. Okay, so
same.
They don't exist. Gender dysphoria exists. No, let me explain because I didn't get to explain earlier. The whole problem with this is you're saying I've totally lost it at this point. I don't even know what I'm going to say. It's
actually give him a couple seconds.
God damn it! It is actually every time I have a point, it's actually evil to feed into someone's delusions. That is correct. That is not kind. It's not nice. It's not being polite. It is actually evil. It shows that you hate that person. It shows that you don't care about that person. If you're willing to lie to them and feed into their delusions, which are harmful to them, repercussions are lifelong. It's evil. But trans people don't exist. You're not more than one person. You don't get to transition to another person. You might have gender dysphoria. It is an issue that needs to be dealt with. And that's the one thing that I know it's kind of what you're trying to say, Noel, and that I agree with, is there is no care on either side, it seems like at times, for people with gender dysphoria. It's a real thing. I get that. And those people need to be taken care of. What's not taking care of them is chopping their breasts off, chopping their dick off, lying to them, feeding delusions into their head. So the entire idea of saying trans people exist is part of that. It is part of feeding into the delusion. It's part of actually harming these people long term. That's my point. Dysphoria is in they are mistaken in their thinking. There's something wrong in their brain and needs to actually be taken care of in a way that is kind and in a way that is helpful. And feeding into that delusion is not that. It's evil.
And I agree with almost 100% of what you just said. Like literally 99% of what you just said. I do want actual, real help for these people. But that does not negate that these people don't exist. They do absolutely 100% exist, but it needs to be handled in a more healthy manner. It needs to be taken care of.
You don't think the language matters, though?
We're not saying
the language matters.
Believe me, I get it.
It's Orwellian.
No, you don't.
It's Orwellian to say trans people exist. It is
no, it's not.
entirely Orwellian.
It's the overhead window.
100% exist, and so we have to deal with it. Okay, gender dysphoria, trans people exist, and so we have to deal with it. We need to undergo better, healthy, more constructive medical.
It's not saying the same thing, Abby. It's not saying the same thing.
You're just blue-pilled.
It's not saying the same thing. Language matters. Language absolutely matters.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me grab this. Let me grab it. Obviously, the person exists. Obviously, the dysphoria exists. PJ is not saying that the person and the problem don't exist. And you're both agreeing that treatment is necessary, correct?
But yes. Calling them trans people is harmful. That's my point.
I agree with that. I disagree.
Because I'm not wrong. Because if you
conceding the point, they can transition into something else.
Let me ask you the question. Let me ask you this question. Do you actually want to help these people, or do you just want to prove that you're right and they're wrong?
Of course he wants to help them. Come on.
Then you have to meet them where they're at.
No, I do not. I do not meet a person.
Meet
a person who thinks that they're. If someone thinks that they're Napoleon Bonaparte,
I'm way more red pill than you are.
Well, you kind of are. Let's talk about your life as Napoleon Bonaparte.
I'm saying meet them where they're at. Where are they at? They're struggling with a very real scientific medical disorder of gender dysphoria, and they do exist. They do. The word exists.
Of what you're talking about anyway is a totally social contagion. Factually speaking, gender dysphoria only exists in 2 to 5 year old males, and it almost always dissipates. What we're talking about right now is a social contagion of telling 12-year-old girls, hey, your period.
I'm not co-signing that. I'm not co-signing that. I'm fully against it. I'm 100% against it. I'm talking about grown adults. Okay, so my bad. Yeah. I'm talking about adults. I'm not talking about children. There is no such thing as a trans child. All right?
There's no such thing as a trans adult either.
Yes, there is.
Right, dude.
Because these people really believe that.
When did it
we
happen?
need to meet them where they're at.
When did it happen?
I would
Actually
like
want
it
to
if for the
help
rest
them.
of the stream you would call me Napoleon Bonaparte, because I believe I am, and I'm an adult.
That is not
That's cool
applicable to this conversation.
Wait, can I ask a serious question?
Yeah, Tom. Tom.
Noel, does this apply? Does this apply to addiction? Does this apply to someone? This is a serious question. Who is a heroin junkie or someone who's a meth head or a crackhead? Would you say the same thing? Hey, you know that they have a problem. You know that that's not the correct behavior, and you would not allow them to or encourage them to indulge in that behavior. But would you go and meet them where they're at? Like, would you take them to go and get high? Would you go and take them to use?
I never co-signed that. As somebody that spent 3 years in rehab, I never said that at all. I never said to feed into their delusion. I'm saying they do exist, and we must acknowledge that just as much as I tell a person that I counseled as a student and as a teacher in drug and alcohol rehabilitation that, yes, you are an addict, but this is not a lifestyle that you should choose, nor should you promote. And here are some healthy manners to get over that. Yes, you're
Noel, the people that say that they are the people that say that they are trans, and the people that you are telling us are the real trans people are the people who I would think you'd also tell are the safe users. Like, hey, I know you're able to use this safely. You don't have a problem, even though you use it daily. You don't have a problem though. I just need to help you get clean. You're telling me that it's not a real problem that they have trans issues, but you're still going to help them detrans. It doesn't make sense.
Here's where the disconnect is that you think that me saying that transsexual people actually exist is an encouragement to continue their behavior. And I have never said that one time. I'm only acknowledging the very simple and obvious and realistic scientific fact that these people struggle with X, and we need to help them. And we cannot help them by saying, no, you're not an addict. No, get over it. No, you're not transsexual. Just get over it.
You're muted.
No.
Yeah, you're muted.
You're muted.
We
bud.
cannot.
You're muted, PJ.
You're muted.
Abby's muted as well.
What does trans woman mean? That's the question I'm asking. What does trans woman mean?
A trans woman is a biological male who identifies as a woman.
So a male.
So a male.
Yes,
so when you
that
say
is
they
a man.
are trans, you're saying they're a woman.
No, I'm saying that's what they're trying to sell you. I'm saying
that's what it
that
means.
No, it's not. No, when you go back 5 years ago, that never meant that. A transsexual meant that is a person that wants to identify as the other sex, but they fully realize that they are not that sex.
That's transvestite.
And we have a multitude.
That is transvestite.
No, a transvestite is someone who just dresses up as the opposite sex.
But they know that they're not. That's a transvestite.
Yes.
That's not what a transsexual is. It's not what
A transsexual is someone who identifies as the other sex. A transvestite is someone who just dresses up. They don't have to be gay.
Hey, everybody, if you're listening at home, if you could go ahead and like the stream, share a link to the stream on your social medias. Make sure you're sharing all of the links in the different descriptions of however you're watching, and help us grow the channel a little bit. Help us grow the stream.
I think this is mostly a semantic argument.
Kyle,
it is very.
We agree on 99% of the important stuff, and PJ's argument is that words matter so much that you have to be careful to not cede ground in using the words that the other side has chosen. And I was arguing this earlier, where the other side has chosen a word and made it the focal point of the entire argument. A word like racism, they'll redefine racism and then make it the focal point of the argument. And we just go along with the word they chose and the definition they chose for it, instead of taking a couple steps back and saying, actually, I don't agree with your definition of racism. Actually, I don't think that the thing you're describing with the word trans is something that I'm ready to sign on to, even at the beginning of this argument.
Right. And love to get a full segment of this, but we got to continue to move on because we only have we got about 15 minutes left before we head into the last call. So
speaking of black people, go ahead.
Yeah.
Black people. Have you guys seen this video?
Man.
This is the most look, we need a little bit of wisdom here. Abby's been dropping wisdom bombs all night. I just want a little bit more wisdom too. That something we can all agree on. A wise sage on TikTok said this.
It's not no
Nope,
audio.
you got to share your audio, brother.
I totally did share my audio. I don't know
you
what's
sure
going on.
Doesn't say it.
I saw this TikTok a couple
you
times.
usually have
Great.
that thing against it, yeah.
I'll do it again. I'll do it again.
Frank,
Poor
did you do
PJ.
your
Poor
reminder about
PJ.
last call?
I did.
Or me.
Well, let's go here.
Here's the sage and all his wisdom.
The reason I drink is because I'd rather getting drunk than listen to a liberal. That's all. The reason I drink is because
Yeah.
I'd rather
Don't
get drunk than listen to a liberal.
Yeah. So
don't forget last calls, the last 10 minutes where we answer your super chats, read them, and
Reason
give
I
you guys
rather
the time you deserve. So if you still want to get in your super chats, any questions you might have for Steven or PJ or even Noel, Tom, Abby, myself, make sure you put them in there, and we'll go ahead and make sure to get them on last
This is
call.
fun. I'm
just
coming on
ask
next
questions
week.
of these
Great
two.
time. I love it.
Coming on
This is
tomorrow.
Great time.
Oh, great. All right. Well, speaking of some more black people, let's go ahead and keep on going here.
Oh my god.
that's Frank's new catchphase. Speaking of
it.
black people.
I'm going to get a T-shirt that says that. Speaking of black people.
All right, if you guys want a "Speaking of Black People" T-shirt,
Yo,
on
let's
Don't even
go.
ask. Don't
I
even
will
ask, just
definitely
bring
buy
it.
I'll buy it.
Don't
just
forget
saying.
Don't forget also the last weekend of the month. This month we will be doing a costume party here on the channel where we will all be dressing up and having a little bit of fun with Halloween right around the corner. I think we're dressing up as a political play. Not sure, but we will talk a little bit about that a little bit later as well. What was that?
Someone
Is that
dropped a
what-
bucket?
Is that the wood chipper finishing?
That was one of my
I
kids.
thought it was the Blue Man Group.
Oh, hey guys, here's a fun joke for you. How do you
Can't believe that
feed?
came through.
Here's a fun joke for you. How do you feed a pedophile?
Face
Feet first.
You don't.
So I got it wrong.
All right. Well, Waffle Salter shared this with me. Let me go ahead and put it up on the screen here for you guys. He shared this meme just a second ago. There you go.
Oh
This is a family show, Frank. This is a family show.
Oh man.
I got
Just wow. You guys want to hear a joke, by the way?
Yes, please.
Women's rights.
Oh, hilarious. You guys each get one shot at me tonight. So
Yeah, I've taken a few. It's been fun.
Yeah, I think Steven took mine already. So
Yeah.
I want to tell you guys my favorite joke, but I've never been able to tell it without laughing hysterically.
what?
Now's your chance.
Do you want to
Go
hear
ahead,
it?
PJ.
All right.
Go ahead.
Frown while you do
All
it.
right. I'm gonna try to say this with a straight face. It's one of those jokes you need a straight face to tell it. Okay.
We've
so-
seen your face, PJ. It's not going to be a straight one.
handlebar. I know. You know what? You're just jealous of the
it
friendly
was
mutton
after-
chops look. Yeah.
Especially after Bros.
I'll mute myself. Go ahead.
All right. So little Johnny is sleeping in his bed one night and he hears sirens and he sees lights flash in his window. So he runs up to the window and notices that his neighbor's house is on fire. And he's watching as the firefighters, climb up the windows and rescue people and put the flames out. And he's just staring out his window, just completely enthralled in this. And he gets excited and he runs to his parents' bedroom. He knocks on the door. He's like, "Mommy, Daddy." And they come out and they say, "Little Johnny, what is it?" And he's like, "Mom, Dad, I finally know what I want to be when I grow up." And they look at him and they say, "You're not going to grow up, Johnny. You have AIDS." You all laughed. You're all
Good
terrible
delivery.
people.
Good delivery.
I don't know what to say to that.
I love
Greatest joke ever
AIDS.
told.
I just love AIDS.
It's a good
Why do you
joke.
think that's why I'm on Twitter. Like
PJ, thank you for all of that build up that you gave.
that's good. I thought it was gonna
That's
be a
what-
quick one.
Offensive jokes are the best jokes. I don't care. They can go pound sand. I don't care. I love to use the word retard and gay. And this
My question is, how did the kid
episode has
get
been
AIDS?
gay.
How did the kid get AIDS
Right.
exactly?
From a cereal box, as Dr. Fauci told us.
Oh man.
You guys remember that one?
Good.
No.
Oops.
So they're in the 80s, Dr. Fauci said that kids could get AIDS from cereal. We don't know.
Yep, he sure did.
Yeah,
It was
because
a-
maybe
it was
he
like
put it on
monkeypox.
some cereal. We don't know.
Yeah.
He's
It's
a
like monkeypox,
disgusting
didn't want to
human
admit
being.
what it was. Yeah. Anyway, go
Well,
ahead.
speaking of gay people, So
Pull it
check
up.
this
Go
out.
ahead.
The hardest hit person here might be PJ once again. So brace yourself, PJ.
Yeah, that gay
Super-
boom swings around and hits PJ again.
The gay Superman has been canceled. I know you're
Superman.
Heartbreaking loss for PJ and his family.
First of all, I've been very adamantly not a DC fan my whole life. And second of all, I'm
This
not
is
gay. My
world-shattering.
boyfriend is. I don't appreciate this.
It's like a joke you tell. It's like if we go camping and you wake up with your butt hurt, are you going to tell anybody?
Well, what is the answer, Frank? You almost answered it.
If your butt hurts in the woods and no one feels it, then did it really happen? Like,
If you
what
say
happened
no
to this
homo, if you say no homo,
I'm saying no
No.
homos. That's what I'm saying.
Is it better to say no homo or surprise? Which one's more?
See, Steven's over there just making a list of different communities to make slaves.
I agree
think I
with
just got
Noel.
added to
It reminds me. It reminds me of that
slavery.
Office meme where it's Ryan with the notepad. So just made my list. Steven.
Jim just
Where's
made the
Cactus?
list.
Where's
Most-
Cactus? I've not seen Cactus all night.
Most of you
I'm
guys
not
are
sure.
good. Most of you guys are yeah. There's one that might be on the list.
I agree with Noel on this one. Just to get up and walk away was the absolute right thing to say.
I really just had to pee, so.
Abby, I have
Nice.
a question for you.
Yes.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate
Everything.
so much about the things that you choose to be.
That's all I want to know.
Toby.
Okay, so I wasn't gonna
Such
tell
an
my
insult.
favorite joke, and now I want to tell my favorite joke.
Oh gosh. All right, everybody, go ahead.
Are women even funny?
I'm gonna. I have a pillow over here. So.
No,
Get ready, guys.
No.
A sonnet is coming. Go ahead.
I said it was my favorite, not that it was funny.
Okay, it's a haiku then.
Okay.
Well, actually, pretty close. So this is a car commercial. It's got 5 seats in the front, 7 seats in the middle, 5 seats in the
This
back.
is a Jewish joke.
The haiku. It's poetry in motion.
That was the worst. That was the worst joke I heard.
It was so bad that I actually literally predicted it. It was so bad that it was stereotypically what I was saying. It was the cliche. I was like, there's no way that it's literally a haiku because that would be ridiculous. And sure enough, you picked the one joke that is actually incorporative of a haiku.
My favorite
Well
thing
done.
about this joke is the way that people react to it. It's my favorite.
Hey, someday when we
She
have
likes
like 25
anti-humor,
minutes,
is what she's saying. Yeah, yeah.
someday when we have a long time, you guys ask me about the pink ball and the pink paddle. I'll tell you that one. Another
I
night.
told that joke to
Okay.
a guy I was dating, and he broke up with me within the week. So
Good.
He wasn't the one.
It took a week. It took a week.
That was his excuse.
That's how you know he's
No,
gay.
I will say I agree with what someone says in the chat. That was like the first mom joke I've ever heard. Like usually it's a dad joke. But that was a mom joke. Like that was legit. I like that.
Very good.
thank you.
I like that.
Oh, I wanted to ask Tom because we brought this up last week about the adult Happy Meals, and Tom had talked about going out and getting an adult Happy Meal. Did you go get one,
Okay.
Tom?
No, I forgot. I'll do that.
I want to go get one. That'd be cool. I think
God, I'm not made of Happy Meal money out here. McDonald's
you
is more
say-
expensive now. They got like $17 an hour. They're paying these burger flippers, so it's a little bit more now.
See the
new euphemism just dropped. Burger flippers.
Yeah, right.
That means black people.
You don't have to
right?
call them
Well,
poor
you
anymore.
See,
You
the other
just call
day,
them burger
they said,
flippers. The
okay,
BFs.
listen, there's jogger, there's stranger, there's mugger, there's creep. And what I'm saying, the other day, there a bunch of black people like terrorized the neighborhood, and they literally called them in the New York Post lunchtime rowdies.
No,
It
they
was-
didn't.
it's- I
Did they?
swear.
Is
it
that
says-
what you changed to your?
yeah, that's why
name?
it says
Oh.
lunchtime rowdies terrorize Greenwich Village neighborhood. I'm like, bro, like new euphemism just dropped.
Yeah, loitering hooligans are going to be next.
You guys say flipper though. You can't put like flipper. I mean, that's very
A
that's
burger
very
flipper.
traditional of you, a traditional American nation of you. You know?
yeah Greenwich
Yeah,
Village
lunchtime
block
rowdy. I
held by
swear to
lunchtime
God, dude.
rowdies.
It actually says it.
It's. I swear, I'm not kidding. Literal lunchtime rowdies. Like what? Like what do we like? Have suspenders and vests under like shotguns. Like Like
can I go back to the adult Happy Meal thing? Because there's something really strange about this to me, and I can't get it out of my head.
There's a lot strange about an adult Happy Meal, but go ahead.
There's a lot strange about this one in particular. So it's not the normal size Happy Meal. It's you got an adult size burger, you got an adult size shake, or a drink, an adult size fry, and they have a toy. And all I can think is that they have to call this an adult toy.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? What is it?
Yep.
Honestly, dude, calling it an adult toy or not calling it that, either way, it's going to end up a dildo.
That's my point. Yeah.
Oh,
my God.
You're banned. Once I get in
your
power,
dreams are fulfilled.
You won't even be allowed to speak like this in my nation.
You're on the list, Tom.
You're on the list. Upside down.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
R.I.P. this stream.
Mm-hmm. This has been a great one. It's been an absolute blast.
Yeah, we really just learned that we don't want Steven running the country, nor do we want Noel running the country.
Yeah, but one of them is gonna be. Because one of them's pro-government and the other isn't. So.
Oh my gosh.
Lunchtime Rowdies is the latest gang. They're rivals of the Breakfast Bunch.
Yeah.
You might be muted, man. I saw you try to say, yeah, you're muted.
You're muted, Noel. We
Good.
can't hear you.
Did your headphones die?
Yeah, dude, your headphones are.
Oh, Abby is the shit. I like Abby a lot. I like you. She's coming on my show like tomorrow, actually.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
You're all right for a Fed, Abby.
Oh, thanks.
That was like, I felt bad earlier, but like that part where like people kept interrupting PJ was actually kind of funny.
It was so good.
It is kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Because the most mad that PJ got was when everyone interrupted him and I tried to shut them down, and then PJ got mad at me. I was just trying to be like, "Yo, let him talk." And it's like, "Yo, let me talk." Anyway,
pretty fly for an FBI, Abby.
Mm-hmm. Yo, might be wrong. Says Noel lost his right to speech.
Not based anymore.
So based. I'll crack down on
not
free
based.
speech. Free speech has never existed, man. It's so fake.
You're still muted.
You're
there
wrong.
you go.
There we go.
Might be wrong has been on my side the whole time. So
No. It's one of my best friends. No, I know where his loyalty's at.
My sound right now because my crap is failing everywhere.
It's okay.
You're good, man. You're good.
Hey, I needed someone to take the heat off of me for having failing tech issues. So.
It has sounded better right now, Noel, than it has in like the last little while. So you're good.
Well, I'm working straight off the Mac.
Perfect.
Now, so
Perfect.
Very
Perfect.
good.
So, you guys, speaking of black people, I felt like
we're definitely getting a t-shirt. We're getting a t-shirt that says that
like
now.
we have another story, don't we?
Well, hey,
I've had a few, but we didn't have any time to get.
Do we have anything about the nukes or no?
What is the one thing that white people can cook better than black people?
Black
gosh,
people.
Don't say it.
Black people.
A Father's Day dinner.
Oh.
I saw that.
Yo.
As an honorary African American,
that was a good.
Offended.
That was very good.
What does it say about me that my brain went right to a 6 million
Me
number?
too. I was gonna make a Holocaust joke too, dude. For sure.
I thought it was a Holocaust
I mean,
joke. I
just
thought Abby's
kidding.
joke earlier was a Holocaust joke.
Me too. You were gonna say the ashtray. I know that joke.
Yep, he knew the joke.
I know that joke. It's a Michigan thing, I guess.
It must be.
You know,
Anyway.
Yeah, we traded those jokes on the back of the bus in public school in Michigan.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, speaking of black people, let's go. What was that story that you had, Abby, that you wanted to talk about?
I think I don't have. Somebody else has it, but it's the one about the guy who happens to be black who is strangling babies.
I has it right here.
All right,
I has it. It's down here from Texas.
Yes, massa.
This is insane. Texas teenager breaks into hospital nursery, assaults nurses. and starts to strangle babies. And I think this kind of circles back to what we were saying earlier about this spirit of a hatred for human beings. You see it from a hatred for babies, a hatred for men, a hatred for women, a hatred for just humanity in general.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm so glad we're ending the show on a positive note.
Well, what I was going to say is I think you guys are getting this story entirely wrong. I don't know if you guys ever listened to Dane Cook back in the day, but he talked, he might have been an Alex Jones style prophet in this way. He talked about the sound that made people want to punch babies, that he thought it existed. So maybe there is that sound, like there's the brown note, like that sound that'll make you crap your pants. Maybe there is the sound that actually makes you like have a vengeful desire to strangle babies.
Maybe.
That sounds
that exists.
But
it's Kamala Harris's laugh.
BJ, that was from the vicious circle. Let's leave it there. All right.
You are fake news.
How about we not make places gun-free zone? Literally the answer.
What's a gun-free zone?
Free zones. Let people carry firearms, and guess what doesn't happen? Somebody come into your hospital or your school and murder a bunch of people because they might get shot in the face 1,000 times.
Yeah, let everyone have a gun, and then Dane Cook can't marry his 21-year-old girlfriend as a 50-year-old man, which is creepy.
That is creepy.
Yeah. We're into the last round.
Yeah, Sparky says the shirt should say on one side, speaking of black people, on the other side, faux sizzle.
Faux shizzle.
Faux shizzle.
Sizzle. Yo. I love Frank, dude.
I think we had at least one super chat that had a significant question on it.
Yeah,
Can you
let's
grab
go
that
ahead.
one first.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Last call, guys. So if you have a super chat you want to go ahead and get in there, but I'll go ahead and grab.
I can share the first two here from Odyssey. On one side, it asks, is that white privilege? I think it is, referring to someone arguing earlier. And then another one referring to trans people saying it is a mental illness. So thanks for the super chats on Odyssey.
Yeah, thank you so much
Thank
over
you.
there.
Thank you.
Gabe said, "Are you all talk about how YouTube is demonetizing channels talking about the conflict in Ukraine?"
Didn't know that.
Yeah, they well, good thing I don't have this monetized anyway.
One side of what side of the perspective?
They anything that's anything pro Russia is what they demonetize. It will even take down that video if it's too pro Russia. That is something that's been happening on YouTube. It hasn't happened much, but early in the conflict, that was something that they were doing. If you were talking about the biolabs that were in Ukraine, if you were talking about any of that stuff, they were striking channels. For misinformation. They were pulling down the videos. They were even taking down channels if it was too pro Russia. And again, in that case, so much suppression of one side makes you want to. Why they limiting conversation? Why am I have to root for Ukraine? Why do I have to root for this side? Makes people curious and wonder, why all of the suppression?
Right.
And that's why you get so many people are like, oh yeah, well, I'm rooting for Russia because it seems like all the bad people that we look at are on this one side protecting this dude. And that's what happens a lot of time. It's not so much being pro-Russia a lot of times with a lot of people.
But
it's but it's like, I don't want to be aligned with these people. Anyway.
The pro-Ukraine propaganda was so strong that early on it exposed one of the last people we'd expect to be controlled opposition, DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
DuckDuckGo very early on is like, hey, you know how we were that free? Like our only selling point because our algorithm sucks was like, we're not going to censor anything. We're going to censor anything that's pro-Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it exposed them pretty early on.
I would argue against the language of pro-Russia because it's not pro-Russia to say that Ukraine is corrupt
Right.
and disgusting. Yeah. It's not pro-Russia. That is propaganda from the state, from the global elitist. It isn't pro-Russia to say that Ukraine is absolutely 100% corrupt, and I literally 100% lobby against the language, enforcing the idea that calling out the corruption and hypocrisy of these global leaders as quote-unquote pro-Russia.
So you agree with PJ earlier. Words matter.
Yo, violence chosen. Chose violence.
What's the next?
Yeah,
comment?
real quick.
I will just say I am pro-Russia regardless, man. I'm pro-Russia, period.
This one was from Might Be Wrong. Says, I love Steven and Noel. No, I really looking forward to seeing them clash. LOL. I'm going to enjoy your question. What is the best freedom?
God's.
I agree.
I thought you were against natural rights.
That didn't come from
No,
God.
that has nothing to do with it. Freedom, like freedom to and freedom from, is the question we have to be asking. And freedom from sin.
No, that's a false
like,
dichotomy.
Okay, we're last call. We can't go too far in it, but go ahead.
One word:
No,
God's.
no.
God's freedom is good. The opposite is bad. That's my take.
Guys, we're doing shots, not pictures. Let's keep going.
Next one.
The next comment.
Next one here. Waffle Salter says,
I
sounds
do
like
need
you
a
guys
drink.
needed
Thank
a drink.
you, Waffle Salter.
Yes.
I think Waffle Salter just sent another one just a minute ago.
I'll grab it in just a moment here. Lucas LeMay with a $2 super chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bobby Walter, who was searching how to super chat, finally was able to get one in. So
thanks, Bobby.
Thank you.
Bobby sent a $50 one there. Justin Bell PA says, where do I send the memes? And I think everybody answered that question.
To the internet.
Abby's DMs.
R.I.P.
Speaking of R.I.P., Ripcord over here says halftime drinks, everybody. So thank you for that. Might be wrong says I'm not afraid of gays or spiders, but if I see one in my shower, it's not going to end well.
Extremely based.
Such a good
Facts.
Ocean Breeze Salty says cheers, everyone. Thank you, Ocean Breeze Salty. Waffle Salter with this one says cheers. Thank you so much. Once again, Waffle Salter.
Thank you.
Ocean Breeze Salty for $8. This is one that was directed toward me. Have you had a Giorgiano lately? I have not had a Giorgiano lately, but thank you. Now I will. A fun story real quick. Just 20 seconds or like our first stream, I kept like getting up and leaving the thing. I was talking about pizza. Tom and PJ, are you actually cooking a pizza there? So anyway, that was a quick story.
And he wasn't. He was just having to use the little girl's room 3 times.
Tell it
on
again sometime, Frank. Tell it again.
You might want to get your prostate checked there, Frank. Go ahead.
Yeah. Did you describe that as a great story?
Yeah, it was a fantastic story. It was great.
Classic.
Waffle Saucer came in with one thing is for sure: God loves memes.
Absolutely.
So true.
Timothy Plunk with $1. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And you said Waffle Salter had one more here. It was right here. Speaking of black people, can we get other favorite joke? Don't leave me hanging.
Maybe we need to hear Steven's.
Yeah,
my favorite black joke. I mean, that's my entire live stream, dude. Like we did like two-hour segments on racialism, dude. It's my favorite black joke. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Why do black people only have nightmares? Because the only one with a dream got shot.
Oh.
That was good.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Anyway,
got 3 more jokes left. What do you got, Frank?
Guys, I have a huge black audience, and this is really not going to go over very well.
I just had one. It was one that was Daniel Tosh talked about one time, and he was talking about what people would taste like if they were food. And he's like, oh, white people would be like mac and cheese, and all the audience started laughing. And then he's like, well, you know what? What would black people be like? Fried chicken? And one person started laughing. He's like, there's my guy. He's like, not afraid to laugh at this joke. That was a test for all of you all out there. So anyway, I'm not very good at joke telling, as you can tell.
Another great telling. Thank you, Frank.
Yes. Tell it again sometime, Frank.
Jeez. Who originally told that joke, Frank?
Shut up, PJ.
Let him.
He knew where I was
All right,
going with that.
Tom,
All right,
I think you're the last one to tell us your favorite joke.
No, but I appreciate it. We don't have the time.
Steven Sharon says.
I saw that. Yeah.
I think we have time.
I might contest it.
All right.
Love you, Sharon.
So we got about a minute left. Where can they find Steven? Steven, let them know where they can find you.
Yo, you see in my name, Ignoramus Media on YouTube, but streams are too spicy, so I stream every weekday at 11 a.m. on YouTube, but we upload to Odyssey because it just gets too spicy, like Ignoramus Media and Iggy Normus on Twitter. I think my link might be in the description to find me on all places, but those 2 locations is awesome. Watch on Odyssey, 11 a.m. Eastern time every single weekday. That's me.
All right. Noel, where can they find you at?
Basically, you can Google the Cajun Libertarian. That is me on all platforms. if you pull me up, I'm the first one because nobody else has the following that I do with that name. But the number one place that I operate from is Twitter with the Cajun Libert 1. So just take off Liberty and replace it with the number 1 or Noel Olin. Either way, but I also have a YouTube channel, Facebook, large following, TikTok, all of that. So also Anchor.fm, my podcast streams on Anchor.fm is where it casts out, and you can find me on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and maybe basically anywhere where you can get your podcast. Even if you hate my show, but you love my amazing guests, which I have like some of the top tier guests in the country within the libertarian sphere, please give me a 5-star review, like, and then share. And let's have some fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this edition of the Last American Pubcast. We're back next Saturday, same time, same place, same establishment and everything with some good friends and some good drinks. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys had a great time tonight. I'm looking forward to streaming with you guys again next week, guys. Thank you so much for everyone being here. Any closing remarks from any of you guys before we get out of here?
Absolutely.
It was fun.
It was so much fun.
It was a blast. I love this. I'm down to come on anytime. This is
same.
freaking rowdy, dude.
Yeah, we can put to rest any of our concerns that 6 would be too many. I think it was just great.
Yes. And PJ can now go watch Bros happily after this stream has ended. So
my mustache told me it was great. So
Abby, you got anything?
It's been a pleasure, you guys.
All right, let's get on out of here.
F you, by the way. Go ahead.
I will roll the credits and we will get out of here. Good night, everyone.